Period.
Period.
Today is a good one because we're talking everything menstruation openly and with no shame at all.
This is the Boy Takeover episode, and we are getting to learn and understand something that affects a lot of young women and also girls out there.
Exactly that. Welcome to Tikambe na Tulande, the show for us young people. Let's get learning, let's get talking, but above all, vibes on vibes.
And yeah. I am the man Johnny Boy.
And I am Moffat. See you on the other side. Tell me something. What do you think menstruation is, Al?
Menstruation. I don't think a lot of guys talk about that, but then what I think is that physically, myself, it has got nothing to do with me.
Bruh, that's too obvious.
No, because I can't do that in case you don't know.
Yeah, okay, yeah, let's go.
What it is that I know it affects a lot of young girls and also younger ladies. And then I know it's a process whereby if it's a young girl, that's the time she gets to be matured and she's got the capacity to actually, have a child. That's what I know. And then most of the times, how
do you know all these things, man?
I grew up from a compound.
But when it comes to me, it's a whole different story. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because me growing up, there's been information when it comes to menstrual hygiene.
Okay.
Simply because I think it was regarded as a top secret. You get what I'm saying? Because I remember I had a lot of female friends growing up.
Okay.
In case you didn't know. Yeah, and I would be chilling with my friends, but there was that. They started being secretive. You get, we used to share a lot of things together.
Okay.
You get, but they started being secretive. Yeah, like to my hush whispers when we are chilling, and I was like, "What's so secretive that you guys can't tell me?" You get what I'm saying? So
it's like that. Yeah. One of those things whereby if you try to find out. So that's a problem as well.
Yeah.
But then you should also understand that it's not like ladies can control what's happening to their bodies. It's just like happens to them naturally, so they can't control that. So I think it's high time that most guys start treating this whole issue in a much more sober way, so that we're able to support the young ladies and the girls when it comes to issues of menstruation.
Even we need to come in, join hands together, and just talk about menstruation.
Yeah, help break some myths.
Let's make the ladies feel comfortable. Guys out there, let's make the ladies feel comfortable. Let's talk about it. Let's ensure that they feel free. Let's the vibes, man. Let's be
I think men need to support this, because I remember sometime in high school.
Right,
one of these things.
A lot of things,
man.
I
do.
High school, man.
I do. I remember sometime in high school, there was this girl. She just stood up from her barrack and wanted to walk outside, and everybody in class was like, "Woo, Nchani!" Then the lady had I was on a cycle, and she had she had a floor, and then I remember how hard it was for that girl to actually even go back to class and try to interact with everybody else. It was really harsh. So I feel like people should really do the sober minding thing, and then begin to support things like menstruation for ladies and girls.
Exactly, man. So for more information on menstruation, we had an interaction with an expert who was able to unpack a lot of things that has to do with menstruation. So for more questions, burning questions, and other things that you guys need to know, see us on the other side.
I founded an organization called AfriHer when I was 16 years old, and we work in rural and peri-urban settings and communities in Zambia. So when it comes to the issue of menstruation, there's also period poverty, a lack of access for girls to safe and clean water when they're attending, and so they miss classes, no access to safe menstrual hygiene products, so we provide that. That's how I first got into working in kind of the menstrual hygiene management industry. Menstruation is, no, I'm just kidding, it's not a secret. So menstruation is when a person who identifies as a woman who was born with a vagina biologically bleeds from there monthly. So it's basically when your uterus is saying to you, knock knock, you haven't put a baby in me, so I'm going to kill you. Just kidding. And it just bleeds and it sheds the uterine lining and it prepares for pregnancy, because that's what a period really is. It's just your body letting you know you are old enough now to carry a baby. So I have something really special to show you. One of the products that people use when they're menstruating, women, is a menstrual cup. So a menstrual cup is inserted into the vagina. It's a really soft, environmentally friendly silicone, and you insert it vaginally and it pops open, and it has this little stem here at the end that you can cut on one of the rings, or you can just kind of push using your abdominal muscles as though you're giving birth or you're going number 2 in the toilet, and it pops out and it will fill up with blood. This is the smallest size. They come in multiple different sizes, and it has little indicators here to show you how much that you've bled. You change it every 3 to 6 hours. You pour the blood out into the toilet. You rinse it with some clean lukewarm water and soap if you like, but it has to be a soap that's vagina friendly. And that's a menstrual cup. This is one of the aids, menstrual aids, that, you know, women and girls use on their period. Another one, and the most common one, is a sanitary pad. So this one is a disposable sanitary pad, and it comes with wings. And then we have multiple other variations of the sanitary pad. We have the reusable sanitary pad. We have the sanitary pad which melts away when it comes into contact with water. And that's one of my favorite ones because it's very good for the environment. And then of course we have tampons. We have the Diva cup, which is a variation of a menstrual cup. And when you get to now communities that are poverty stricken, then you come across issues where people are using chitenge cloth as a menstrual aid. And that's a very real story, even in Lusaka, even in the peri-urban communities. So sometimes it's very hard for women and young girls in rural, poverty-stricken communities or areas to access certain products like the sanitary pad or a menstrual cup. In fact, in one of the communities we work in, what ends up happening is they buy the cheaper versions of the diapers and they cut them and they use each piece of a diaper per different day because that's more economic for them. That's what they can afford. And then another factor is just, you know, they don't have the right information, and then we also have our cultural barriers on what a tampon is and why are we inserting it vaginally, how will it affect or help young women. And then just the standard is lack of money to buy sanitary pads. So let's talk about the male in menstruation or the men in menstruation. I am a woman, I menstruate. It is, you know, me and my body's business. However, men can still play a huge role in this. Period poverty exists. It affects how young girls attend, go to school, participate in certain activities that will help them grow, elevate, and contribute to the community. We need not just women to step up and be activists, but men too, to say, hey, I care about this issue. I am a man and I care about menstruation, and I'm taking part in the fight to end or eradicate period poverty. I went up to my male teacher at school. I was in grade 8 and I was like, I think I'm dying. And I was very panicky. I was like, I don't know, Mumala. And I was trying to explain what was happening. And when he found out what it was, he said, okay, let's go. And he took me to the side and he called my mom and said, no, the child is sick. And my mom came rushing because I normally never got sick in school. And that's how I found out I had started my period. It was very embarrassing. This one is a very fun one because my grandmother, Bambuya, tried to teach me this. It's when you're on your period, don't cook with salt, don't eat eggs. And there's a logic and a science behind it. It comes back to menstrual hygiene also, or menstrual hygiene management. It's not just about sanitary pads, it's okay. If I'm cooking and I have long nails and I'm picking salt with my hands and then sprinkling it on the food, I'm also sometimes, a way that women or young girls dispose of pads is by washing it, right? So maybe is dirt in my nails if I haven't cleaned it out. So that's one thing.
But ons can perform exist. So we decided to go to the Copper Belt and just find out what people think about menstruation. Achano Pondo, as Wakopara would say. So let's find out what guys and girls know about menstruation. See you on the other side.
What's up? Welcome to Copper Belt. Of course, this is a CBU, that is a Copper Belt University. And today we want to just find out something about menstrual hygiene. Something on the lighter note, but something also that you can learn from. So right now I'm going to talk to a student who's going to answer a few questions about menstrual hygiene. So first of all, have you ever tried to buy pads for a female?
Yes, I have.
Okay. But what myths do you know about menstrual hygiene? Can someone get pregnant when they are on their menses?
No, I doubt.
Okay, why do you say so?
Because there are myths which say usually the right time to have sex with a girl when you don't want them to get pregnant is when they are attending.
Oh, okay. Okay, so talking about that, have you ever tried to have sex when your girlfriend is on their menses?
No.
I see what you did there. But also, what menstrual products do you know?
Free, stay soft. Yeah, then the angels. I think those are the only ones I know, especially stay free stuff.
Okay. Let me do something crazy here. You've never had menses before, but do you feel like that's the most pain that anybody can ever experience?
I highly doubt.
You highly doubt.
Very much.
Okay, but also, would you exchange them for yourself? Like, let's say they are going through pain, and then you feel like, okay, let me bear their pain.
It depends with the relationship you have with them. Maybe girlfriend, yes.
Have you ever tried to get pads for your girlfriend? How was your first time?
From a guy's perspective, that was a little bit awkward and weird that I was actually getting pads for a lady. Something I was thinking a little bit disgusting, but with time you get used.
Come back. So what's the funniest name that you've called your periods?
Funniest name?
Yeah.
I think I've always known them as periods because like growing up my mom would always tell me about them like before I started, so like I've always known them like that.
Okay, you've always known them like that. But then, what is the most embarrassing moment when it comes to your periods? Like, what did you go through that you were like, oh, okay, but this was very scary?
Okay, the first day I started, like,
Okay.
it was so embarrassing, especially to my brothers. Like, I didn't know, like, what to do, but fortunately, my mother used to tell me, okay, whenever you see something like blood, she tell me, so, like, she was always open to me.
Okay.
Yeah, so I found it easier to, like, talk, oh, mommy, I've seen blood and everything, so she was like, oh, okay, gave me a pad, and, yeah, that kind of a thing. Yeah, so like I was just so nervous, especially like seeing my brothers. Okay, what am I going to say? Do they really know what's happening to me? Yeah.
What would you like guys to know about periods?
I would like them to know that they're not embarrassing. It shouldn't be something they're scared to talk about. Like if I ask a guy friend, like if my female friends aren't around, and if I ask a guy friend to get me pads or something like that, it shouldn't be something that they should be scared of, like it's a taboo or something. Yeah, I would like them to know that, and that they're painful.
Okay, they're painful. So how would you describe the pain that you get when you're on your periods? Is it like a 10 or it's a 5?
Okay, for me, I would say a 15.5.
Are you serious? Yes. Okay, but what's the funniest experience you've had when it comes to periods?
Okay, so my funniest experience was my first time. So on that day, it was February 19th, 2011, I decided to wear all white. So that was white undergarments, white skirt, and white top, everything, the shoes. So I went out to play, and then, my friends asked me, like, what's that? What's going on? And other people were like, no, she started her period. So I was so confused, and it was crazy.
Was that like more like your embarrassing moments?
Yeah, it was one of my embarrassing moments. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. But then also I've heard that when women or when girls are on their periods, they wear bright clothes. So what would you say about that?
Okay, for me personally, I like to wear dark stuff because I wouldn't know when I would like mess or anything like that. So just to be on the safer side, I would prefer wearing dark colors.
Okay, so if you had a chance to be, to take away your periods, would you do so?
Definitely, without a doubt.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Ngefa kumira ko pafya chitikeni tunalekula. Nalina emyaka 11 years ntunambira okuchita attend. Chali nkosere okweba olionzi pafya ale chitika cause chali friend n'omuntu olionzi. So after namona blood ambo kufuma. Shayebere olionzi na ilefe na samba. After that yakonkanya pofutu kufuma but apalo na ibere olionzi. So after naikala na munafuti yakonkanya pokufuma afa naishile na mfomwenzi afa naitile bambuya nabe banati bambuya blood ile fuma banjipisha tiacha mashtanshi afa naishile banati acha mboluchele so baishile na ndati machuda nane munakwati ninji chena bashile ndati how tawichenene baishile ndati ifi afa twita muchibembati umwana nishakule chisungu so tawufikire ukulala nabaumi ngawalala namwami olionzi ukakwate efu kuskulu chali nkosere koza abana ndi bonse obona lyangana na bena bali baiche bali ilyenshita nishi bonse pala abana ngumula uwakweta amabere ne wali face to kwata amabere nebu nakwata na pimples pamenzo so nale mfwenson sometimes nale fyuka na kushukuru cause nale mfwenson one of my classmates was like mama machuda mabele na kula so I thought bad afa na fyukile na wera na kunganda na ile pa dressing mirror na sasa ngati afyalela nda fishing kama bele na akula so chali mpele oblanda cause pali ile nshitata twakweteko like tikambe na tulande club bakashana na tusambirize so nale mfwe fibi nalilekela n'okusanga n'abaana nti each and every time nalesanga afeneka after wambuya bandondolera ati nawo kule kisungu bayishira enjebo fyakwisunga kuleka okwangala n'abaumi efyakufwala nga ndi ku monthly period fyonse balinsambirije kozi balishi batizimingana lasangwa n'abaumi kaidi ngolekula wafika pali uli omushinku ngawafika pamushingu wakule ekisungu kulaba okushitako develop ama feelings yamu whereby tifyakitika accidentally mbi walala n'omwami wakwata efumu ekyalengera ekikalamba okutira bandesha okusangwa nabawo mbuya nga nsha ku skulu nga nalise bana na ifingi nga fyali kitike cause bali mfundile ifintu ifingi fyalengera okusira ndambe okuyisunga pali lenshi eyo nakulira so nalibo ansansa cause balinga kwile fingi balilya nshita bambuya
nishani mushukuru wange Matilde nishi mushukuru wange landa ana ali kutemu
bambuya natotera pafumanga kwile ile nshita nalepita mukula kwali bunshita ileo nakuliremo cause ngali bambi nga balekera okuya ku sukulu nanga balishitira efishalingire so ndetasha sana
wena bukankala bwakufunda abaana bukankala lero mwali ba ifunde muba fyashelo balelanda n'omwana amafunde bantu umwana alakulowa uwa kukwata ekirumba kuba fyashi ukukwata ensansa eshingi nafwe bafyashi tulakwata ensansa eshingi ilyo tulefunda abaana n'okumfa balenfwa tulakwata ensansa sana n'omwana wine n'abaana bene balaba bakukula bwino so tuletotera nafa fyonse fyo tuleikala n'abaana ilyo tulebafunda ifyo balekwata okukonka so tunatotera abana ero omwana aisa totera kuline nemufyashiro namufumbi
chali bechikankala nga wamona ifintu fimu paumbiliwo befile echinja kuipishako abakulu oba waba comfortable na bena nango oba ochita communicate na bena chali bechikankala okulangishanya n'abafyashi okulanda n'abakulu abakuchirire cause tetuishi befile kuchitikira
So our spotlight for this edition is a menstruation champion, and this person is going to, explain to us about, what period poverty is, how girls can actually access healthy and clean, sanitary materials during their menstrual cycles. So, Ivi muzazitambira, muzashita enjoy, and you're going to learn a lot of things. So catch us on the flip side.
Greetings, you're welcome to Kitwe. My name is Namutula Sindila. I'm a menstrual health advocate. I'm also a gender activist and a child's rights advocate. So period poverty in a nutshell is the lack of access to information concerning menses, the lack of products as well to use for absorbing the menses themselves, lack of generally wash facilities, bathrooms, water, just everything that is supposed to enable a girl to have very amicable menses. Actually, the situation is still the same, if not worse, because now we have school facilities and infrastructure being overwhelmed because of the free education policy. We have girls that miss up to 3 to 5 days a month of school. Statistics, the UNICEF statistics have shown that 3 to 5 girls miss classes every month, and those classes are okay, not necessarily rural, but peri-urban. The setup is almost the same as the rural area. And yes, there are a lot of girls that have never seen a pad before. I remember I went to a town, I think a year ago, where when we gave out our donations, our sanitary towels, this girl literally dropped into tears and she was being all huggy and everything. We actually even forgot that we're in the COVID era. So now we're responding to these hugs as a group. And this girl says she had never ever received a packet of pads before. So yes, there are girls that have never seen pads. There are girls that have never used a pad or even received a sanitary pad before. The first thing is we advocate based on policy as well. So we will not just go into a school and leave pads or whatever it is. As an advocate, I have championed what we have now, the free distribution of sanitary towels. I'm glad to be one of the people that added a voice to that, and I'm very happy that it has come into being. I've also been very instrumental in pushing for zero tampon tax, which is a waiver on all taxes that are attached to sanitary products or even just raw materials that are used for local manufacturers to make pads here in Zambia. Apart from that, when we go into school, we don't only gather girls and leave the pads. We have conversations with them, we get to listen to them, we hear what their challenges are, we teach them how to keep themselves clean, we talk about adolescent sexual reproductive health and all these other aspects, we talk about children's rights and also the forms of GBV. So when I call myself a different advocate, a menstrual health advocate, that is what encompasses, I think, my lobbying and my advocacy work. Okay, so this is a reusable sanitary towel. It's mainly made by the girls themselves when we see it in our outreach programs, when we have those workshops. The items that go into making these reusable towels are firstly this fleece that you're seeing, which is a baby fabric. We use the fleece because it's very soft on the skin and it will not damage a girl's vitals. Inside the fleece, as a middle part, we have what we call a washable plastic to just stop the leakage. We have another little fleece inside to just thicken and have proper absorption. And because we're very localized, we use our chitenge fabric to just add that feel of our culture as well. The blanket that's inside, the fleece that's inside is folded into 3 pieces to just ensure that the absorption works out well. The rest of it is not necessarily folding, so we just use a back stitch to just put it all together, basically that. So how to use a reusable towel? I would like to, let's pretend my hand is underwear. So put your underwear there, you get your fasteners and you pin it like that, pretty much the way we use a disposable towel. So when it sits on an underwear, it sits something like that, and that's how you use it. I'd actually like to really emphasize that you change it more often, more frequently than the disposable pad. Reason being that the disposable pad absorbs more than this one. So you have to change it more often. And that is why I said there's a bit of a challenge, because if you're in a school setup, and obviously because we are tackling the school setup. So in a school setup, you find that girls sometimes don't have changing rooms, or they don't have water and soap in their classes, and they get to just fold it up, pack it in the plastic and put it in the bag. So it gets to create already those gaps, if you can see them. But you really have to change more frequently than the disposable one.
So Jonathan, tell me, what have you learned into this episode?
I've learned a number of things. Number one, I have understood what period poverty is, because it used to sound like a very weird thing.
Okay.
Period poverty, period poverty, but then it can happen even in a much civilized place. Exactly. And also, I've understood the whole aspect of how girls can actually be clean and also be safe when they are actually using certain materials for their periods, and maybe where they can actually go and get free sanitary materials. Yes, I've learned.
Okay.
What have you learned yourself?
Sanitary wear. Nakutaniza kwenye nachoka manja manja.
I said it's just that you went ahead of me.
Okay, yeah. I think the most important thing that I've learned today is how we, as guys, can also support the ladies when it comes to their menstruation. And also, it's not something that has to be illegal. That has to be top secret or something. It's natural. I think those are the things that I've learned today.
You did quite well. Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Exactly. So yeah, I hope you guys have learned a lot of things today. So join us next time as we'll be talking about different topics that affect us as young people. From me, Moffat.
And this is Johnny Boy.
See you next time.
Next time.